these balconies now are going to be above the children's splash area. Can you imagine how loud that's gonna be all day? It is Sunday, October 23rd, 2022, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofa Time, we're talking about a great big cruise ship. Hello, we're back. Am I wearing a Texaco shirt? Yes. Is it because I'm trying to promote Texaco? No. On our most recent cruise, which was on the Wonder of the Seas, which is very related to the topic of today's discussion, I didn't have a lot of time to pack. You all know the reason why. And about halfway through the cruise, I ran out of t-shirts. And so walked into a clothing store, walked right up to a rack, saw these t-shirts, held this one up and thought, okay, great, I'll take it. And that's why I'm wearing a Texaco shirt. Today, we are going to be talking about the icon of the seas, this newly announced cruise ship from Royal Caribbean. I mean, we knew it was being built, but now we have the details. And I know probably by the time this video goes online, there's gonna be about 20 videos about this ship online. So I'm not gonna do a full ship tour. We're not gonna go through all the details of this ship. But what I do want to talk to you about is some of the highlights and discuss some of the changes, because there are some things that when I was first going through the information, I thought, are they serious? Did they really do that? The first kind of exciting thing I want to talk about is this huge water park that they've built up on the top deck. They're going to have 6 water slides, and you know, I'm young at heart. I like this kind of fun, playful activity. However, when you look at the artwork that they're presenting here, most of these water slides are completely enclosed. And I have to say, from the water slides on the Wonder of the Seas that are also very enclosed, I guess I don't find sliding in the complete darkness that much fun. And the reason is, when you have a quick direction change and you don't see it coming, it kind of throws you around, and I don't find it fun worrying that I'm gonna smack my head or my shoulders against the side of the slide because I can't see the next turn that's coming. It's just a little bit too crazy for me. And I don't know if that means I'm getting old and just worried about hurting myself, or if this is an all-together thing. So if you like water slides, and I know most of you out there are my age and have kids, so also ask your kids, do they like that kind of water slide where it's just dark and you can't see where you're going, and then when there's a quick direction change, you like slam back and forth in the slide? I can't imagine that anybody really thinks that's fun, but maybe. But if you like water slides, you definitely are going to have enough of them on the Icon of the Seas. And now I want to talk about a design change, something that's quite different to the Oasis class of ships. The Oasis class is like the predecessor, the pre-runner, the ancestor of this Icon class. They are very similar designs, but there are some major differences. And like I said, one thing I want to talk about here is called the hideaway. At the very back of the ship, they have now an infinity pool that is suspended over these 2 sort of flanks of cabins that they have on all the Oasis classes as well. On the Oasis class ships, this is not a swimming area. I guess they're all a little bit different, but on one side, at least one side, they have the surf simulator, and on the other side, there's either another surf simulator or different features. But in the middle, on I think now all the Oasis class ships, they have the ultimate abyss, which were these, I want to say, groundbreaking, at least really eye-opening, gigantic slides that went from almost the very top, like the highest part of the ship, down to the boardwalk on deck 8. Maybe it was deck 7, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think that these ultimate abyss slides are really gonna be missed by anybody. They're way cooler to look at than they actually are to ride. It's just not a lot of like thrilling fun. They're pretty slow, and yeah, it's kind of a one and done thing. And the fact that where you finish it is so far away from where you started, it's also not something that you can like do over and over and over unless you want to commit a bit of time to it. You know what I mean? Like with water slides, the distance from where it ends to where it begins isn't as big. You don't have to like take an elevator through the whole ship and then walk halfway back to the back. So this design change is something I kind of understand. I don't think anybody's really gonna miss having these abyss slides. But there are a couple things about this design change that I kind of want to discuss. I don't necessarily understand. And one of them is in the wording on the website, it says something like it's a beach club inspired hideaway. And so when you talk about a beach club, I'm wondering if this pool, if this area is going to be an extra charge area, something that not everybody has access to. And if you want to get into it, you're going to have to pay more for it. The way things are going with Royal Caribbean, that would not surprise me, but I couldn't find any information to confirm or deny that. So if you guys know anything about that, please let me know in the comments below. One thing that I'm very interested to find out about is this infinity pool. The design of the edge is very flat, and it's, you know, when you're looking at it, it looks like it just kind of goes on forever. That is what an infinity pool is. And there is another large cruise ship that has an infinity pool at the back. It's the AIDA Cosma. AIDA is the German brand of Carnival that we've cruised with a few times. And friends of ours have cruised with the AIDA Cosma, and they said that where the infinity pool is, there are cabins and balconies below it. And when there was a lot of rocking and rolling of the ship, this pool splashed over onto the balconies below it. It's been a big topic of discussion in the German cruise forums and things like that. How did they not think that this would happen? And it's the same way on the Icon of the Seas. You can see there are balconies underneath there. And I'm wondering if they thought of this and if they have some kind of design in place to make sure that it doesn't happen. And speaking of the area underneath this infinity pool, this is perhaps one of the biggest, most evident changes on board. And it's something that when I first was going through the information, I thought,
no, they didn't.
And I'm gonna tell you what it is right after this commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below, please. All right, on all the Oasis Class ships, this area, which is underneath where this new infinity pool is gonna be, this area is called the Boardwalk. It is an outdoor space with balconies going up both sides of it that's open to the back of the ship. And what is at the back of the ship on all the Oasis Class ships is this fantastic, amazing aqua theater space. What it will be on the Icon of the Seas is called Surfside, which is sort of the family children's splash area. And there's a few reasons why I think that this decision was a very bad decision. And I'm gonna tell you about them in next week's video. Bye. I'm just kidding. First of all, I don't think anybody's really gonna miss this space being the Boardwalk. The Boardwalk was not really, there's a saying in German that really fits to it. It's weder Fisch noch Fleisch, which means like it's not really one thing or the other. There was nothing really about it that made it super special. Nothing that I don't think anybody is gonna miss that it's the Boardwalk. However, this area is still lined with a large amount of cabins that have outdoor balconies that look to the inside of the ship. These balconies now are going to be above the children's splash area. Can you imagine how loud that's gonna be all day? I almost can't think of a worse place to have your cabin than next to or above the children's splash area. There are gonna be kids screaming there all day. Seriously, like, why? Would you want to have your cabin there?
I would not.
And then there's something missing that I was shocked by. Like I said, I just could not believe that they took this away. And that is the Aqua Theater at the back of the ship. One of the absolute highlights of our Wonder of the Seas cruise, and actually of any cruise I have ever done. All the cruise ships I've been on, of all the cruises I've done, I have never been more impressed than I was with this intense show that we saw on the Wonder of the Seas. I've talked about it so much. I will be talking about it in the upcoming videos about Wonder of the Seas. And I was looking at this information about Icon of the Seas and I thought, the theater's gone. And like I said, I could not believe that they decided to take that out because it's just amazing. But I was happy then by continuing looking at the deck plans and the information that there is still an Aqua Theater. It's just been relocated, and I think that this is a very good idea. So the Aqua Theater has now become the Aqua Dome, and it is taking up the space that used to be, or on the Oasis Class, is the solarium, the adults only pool and hangout area at the front of the ship. That is now becoming the Aqua Dome. And I think this is great. Let's read what it says here on the website. A world of sensory discoveries awaits you at the Aqua Dome, the most immersive scene at sea. From a towering, shape-shifting waterfall that cascades into a dive pool to dining options designed to pique your culinary curiosity. One of the main reasons I find this such a good idea and so exciting is I think that it will make this show a little bit more reliable, because anybody who's cruised on an Oasis class ship will know that this ship gets, or this show, or the shows that happen in the Aqua Theater, they get canceled a lot. So having this venue now indoors, I'm thinking will make it more reliable and also safer for the performers, which is, you know, a win-win for everybody. Also, having it indoors and it changing the structure of the theater, I think they will be able to add more water and flying effects. And those were some of the things that just made this show so spectacular. The wording here that they have dining options designed to pique your culinary curiosity makes me think that there may be an option for a dinner and a show. Like there might be some restaurants in there where you can watch the show as you're dining or while you're finishing your dining experience. And I think that that is a great idea. Then you don't have to stress about finishing your dinner early enough to go and get a good seat. That is a problem we had while we were on the Wonder of the Seas. The one time we went to the main dining room, it just took so long, and then we had to skip our dessert to run out and get to the show. And by the way, then the show got canceled, so we skipped dessert for no reason at all. But that can happen, and I just think having a dinner and a show option is a really good idea. Another thing that Royal Caribbean has introduced to the sailing experience, something that I'm pretty sure is still not on any other cruise ship, are these ice skating shows and having an ice arena. And the first of those venues has been kind of copied on so many other ships, including all the Oasis class ships. And I think it's good that they decided to sort of reimagine or redesign this space, because there was a lot of possibility, let's say that. So the new ice arena on board is called Absolute Zero, and what it says here on the website is the biggest ice arena ever. Watch all-star performers unleash maximum axles and supersized spins, all while an immersive, digitally mapped background transforms this Arctic arena to showcase storylines beyond any you've imagined. The original ice arenas are sort of square and boxy. You know, they kind of mimic like a small hockey rink in a way. And I don't know, they're just something not very cozy or theater-like intimate about these spaces. And I know on the other royal ships that have the old design, they also use this space for sometimes bumper cars and for nightclubs and things like that. So it is a multi-purpose space. I don't know if this new Absolute Zero arena is going to be multi-purpose, but I like the fact that they've made it sort of theater in the round. They've expanded the show area, and I just think it's going to be a more special place to sit down and watch these really cool, imaginative ice shows that Royal creates. Like I said, there's so many other things that we could discuss about Icon of the Seas. We could go deck by deck and look at all the restaurants and look at the cabins and things like that. I'm not gonna do that in this video. There's enough other videos about that. I just wanted to talk about these certain things, and I'm very interested to hear what you think. You know, not every ship has to be the biggest, newest ship. I'm fine with any class of cruise ship, but what I can tell you is our recent cruise on the Wonder of the Seas was a fantastic cruise with a lot of highlights. So I can totally imagine cruising with the Icon of the Seas, and I'm very much looking forward to see what kind of shows they produce in those two new venues, the Aqua Dome and what's it called again? Absolute Zero. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And speaking of comments, now comes the time on Sunday Sofa Time where I comment on your comments live on air. In last week's Sunday Sofatime, I talked about how the recently passed actor Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid in all the Harry Potter movies, how he was a fan of cruising and helped save a vintage 1933 cruise liner, and that was just a very fascinating thing to find out, and going into the history of that and everything was really cool to make a video about, and these comments are on that video. The first one is from Ed Stuff. Ed writes, if you're interested in maritime history, have you been to the International Maritime Museum in Hamburg? It's on Koreastrasse in the Hafen City Quarter. It has an amazing collection of ship models and other items, and they have quite a few ship models there too. They also have a simulator where you can actually pilot a ship. Yes, Ed, I've actually been there, but it's been a long time. I don't have a lot of memories of what I did there, and we were just there for a very short time. So thank you for that suggestion. Maybe I should go back there sometime. Do y'all think I should make a video about that? Let me know. Next comment is something I really am happy to share with you, and I just want to get this out there. In last week's Sunday Sofatime, I mentioned, or I read a comment from Stephen F., who had just a little bit of critical feedback for me, which is totally fine. And the way I read it made him sound very sassy. And Stephen F. came to apologize for the way his comment sounded. And I just think that's really great, so I'm going to read it to you here. Your tribute to Robbie Coltrane was great. This video is very touching, and I appreciated your comments about him and the performance you saw. I also want to say, after hearing you read my comment during your last video, I realized how snarky I sounded. It wasn't my attention, and I apologize for that. My wife and I always watch your videos, and we enjoy them very much. You, along with other cruise influencers, encourage us to become cruisers as well. When my wife heard you read it, she was mortified. She always tells me to stop posting on social media because nobody wants to hear my opinion. LOL. Thanks for all the work you do. Stephen F., thank you so much for writing, and I hope that I didn't bring any sort of negative attention to you either. I know I maybe read the comment a little bit sassy as well. I have a tendency to do that. Maybe it's something that I should work on too. Stephen, people do want to hear your opinion, and you are definitely entitled to write any opinion under my videos. That, as far as comments go, that definitely was far from being the worst comment I've gotten, so don't worry about it. And the final comment is a longer one, but it's important to me because it has a lot to do with the video subject from last week. This is somebody who actually worked on this charity with Robbie Coltrane. It's Russ McLean. He writes, "Hi Morgan, thank you for such a kind video on the passing of Robbie. There's a huge amount of grief. I'm no longer a trustee of the charity, so full disclosure, this is a personal reply to your video and not officially from the charity. Robbie had a great interest in engineering. His unique barn house was, in my view, slightly smaller than his classic car barn on the other side of the yard. That maybe gives folks an idea of his interest in engineering. He just loved classic car restoration, steam train rescue, which he also volunteered to fundraise for, and of course, our beloved T.S. Queen Mary. There was a sparkle in Robbie's eyes whenever he spoke about the T.S. Queen Mary that was through so much pain during overdue surgeries, which never managed to go ahead now. He was larger than life, and Morgan, it was really nice of you to spend time in your video with a pitch-perfect segment on one of the ways Robbie worked tirelessly to raise vast amounts of money to get the ship seaworthy. The cameo thing was a revelation, a vast amount of time and effort, yet Robbie worked through the pain, and it is a great matter of distress. Robbie won't be there to press the button and start the new engines. Most of all, heartfelt condolences to Robbie's family. Best wishes, Russ." Thank you so much for taking the time, and I was glad that I could do what I could to honor his efforts to save this cruise liner. And like I said last week, if you want to learn more about it, check out the link below. It's tsqueenmary.org.uk. All right, next Sunday is Halloween. I'm looking forward to seeing your Halloween costumes, so make sure you share those with me as a private message on Facebook or Instagram. And I don't know, maybe next week I'll do a live stream. I haven't done one of those in a while, have I? Watch this space. See you later.